Tom, firstly, any new injury concerns after the victory over Hull?
No, one that we lost the day before the game was Yasser Larouci. He'll be a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, so touch and go whether we see Yasser again this season. But apart from that, no, all good.
And how are you finding these quick turnarounds between the midweek games and the weekend? There's another one this season we're facing.
Yeah, you get very used to it. You know, it's a real demand on the players physically and the staff mentally. Really, having to. I'm a details guy. I like to leave no stone unturned. So that's a lot of work in between the games for us as a staff. But it's part and parcel of this league. It's why we all love this league. And you can get real rhythm when you're winning games, when you play 3 times in 7 days.
What are you expecting from West Brom on Saturday? Then a little bit of a dip of form at the moment.
Yeah, they are. I mean, looking back at all their previous games, they deserve to have a lot more points than they've won. The Sunderland game at home, for instance, they never deserved to not get 3 points in that game. And look at their team on paper, and you just say that is one hell of an experienced team at this level, or in English football. Plenty of experience in the team, a lot of intelligence, a lot of game management, and a lot of quality. So yeah, I'd expect Tony agrees with me that they should have a lot more points than they've got out of their last 5 games. But yeah, we know that they're in a bit of a dip, and we want to capitalise on that.
Do you see similarities between the two clubs then? Perhaps both of us not getting the rewards for the performances we put in on the field?
Yeah, a little bit. And it's always the case in the game Tuesday that maybe wasn't our most dominant performance is the game we get the 3 points. That's the nature of this league. The way Tony sets his teams up seems like we see the game very similarly. So I expect a good game of football Saturday. Yeah,
are you looking forward to facing Tony? Obviously a veteran manager. He's been there and done it. He's been around the block a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way he plays football and how connected his team are in possession and the rotations and things like that. But I've learnt I can learn a lot from the more experienced managers. Just been next to them on the touchline. I've really enjoyed managing against Mark Robins this season and last, and I'm sure I will against Tony on Saturday.
And obviously, it's a chance to leapfrog them in the table. So does that make the game even more important?
Yeah, it's like I said, I think it's 2 really strong teams who play the game the right way, and both with an outside chance of playoffs. So there's a lot to play for on Saturday, and we'll be up for it.
We've mentioned KB and Giorgi's injuries before. Do you see it now as a chance for other players to step up and to be the match winner and to be that pivotal player?
Yeah, that's the big challenge for the younger players, especially. Moussa stepping into those shoes in the week, and we've lost a lot of creativity with those players. Giorgi, more of a pocket player, travel with a ball and open defences up that way, and KB with his 1v1 qualities, which you don't need to give your team a tactical edge when you've got someone who can dominate like that. So yeah, time for the next line to step up, and whether that be Rocco, Edo, Ince, Moussa, Mamadou, Bayo, but we've got a little bit of a void to fill with those 2 missing.
Last one from me. Obviously a big night for the under-18s this evening. Do you have a message for them?
Yeah, they know the whole me and the whole football club are really proud of them. I've grown up in academy football in this country, and I know the prestige and the tradition behind the Youth Cup, and also the correlation of Youth Cup winning teams or Youth Cup finalists produce generally more players than ones that don't. If you look at previous Man City teams, or going back to more my time, Man United teams, the ones who get to the finals are the ones who produce the most players. So an exciting year for us as an academy.
When you were talking about injured players, it looked like Tom and James Abankwah had a bit of a limp when they came off. Was there anything more to it than just a bit of cramp or something?
Tom was the one we were a little bit more unsure about, but he's had a fitness test today and seems good. James Abankwah seems fine. He's got a little bit of heel pain that he's been managing over the 2 or 3 weeks, but he'll be fine.
Without Chakvetadze and without Bar, are you tempted to do things in a different way? Because a lot of what we've done this season's been predicated on those 2 being on the team. Are you considering over a 5-game block of maybe approaching things a bit differently?
Bar, certainly we have to adapt. because Bar is we've not got a player like KB that can, all the other players you want to either rotate them to find space, to get them on the ball, find them in a pocket, create movements on the back of that. But KB, you can leave him alone 1v1 and he will be devastating. So we certainly have to change when he's not available. But we've adapted really well to that throughout the season.
You said after the game the other night, West Brom's a different experience. You may have to look at how many young players you put in. When you were a young player, did you understand the value of not being picked for certain games, or did you just want to play?
Yeah, I didn't understand it back then, but I certainly do now, yeah. Having looked at their team on paper and the amount of experience they have and how important managing the game will be in periods on Saturday, then it has to come into my thinking for sure.
The counter questions that would be is, at what point can you allow a young player to go and experience that?
I think we've done a good job at that. You know, I think a lot of our development players have really gone on a fast track course this year. I don't think we expected Mamadou to start potentially 10 to 15 games at the end of the season. I think Rocco's made 33 appearances. There's plenty. James Abankwah came to us having played very little at Udinese and in his career. So there are a lot of players that are fast-tracked and can say now I'm becoming experienced. And Ryan, look at Ryan, for instance. He's someone further down. Ryan is now established, closer to the 100-game mark. So I think we will never be guilty of not giving these players enough experience. But there are some games, Saturday for me being one of them, where game management and experience will play a part.
We've said all season long the top three are probably a cut above, and if you bring Sunderland in, there's probably 4 teams. Are you surprised that there almost seems to be a lack of willingness amongst all the other teams to want to be 5th and 6th, because none of them can string a sequence of results together?
I don't think it's a lack of willingness. It's certainly a lack of consistency, and I think it's the finest of margins at times, and that's where, as a coaching staff, we can help. We can help gain those fine margins, those small percentages. But yeah, between the teams 5th and 24th, it is the finest of margins, and we're all working as hard as possible to make sure we're on the right side of that balance.
I think it's almost a year ago that you managed Watford at West Brom. What does the Tom Cleverley who's going to be in the dugout on Saturday differ from the Tom Cleverley of a year ago?
Yes, great question. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable in this seat. Got a real clarity and direction of where I want to take the team. I feel like obviously more experienced and I can focus on the smaller details rather than being completely comfortable in my routine now as a manager or the head coach. And yeah, it's a good question. It's put me on the spot a little bit there, but I certainly feel very comfortable here, very excited about what the future holds for the club, and yeah, looking forward to it.
How does the first year as a manager compare to the first year as a player then?
Again, good question. I'm learning a new career, new trade, but you are less naive to the industry, I suppose. As a first year as a player, you're very naive to the industry, how it works politically or media or things like that. So, again, I understand I'm nowhere near the finished product. I'm working very hard to learn, to absorb as much as I possibly can. And I feel like we've done a good job. We levelled last year's points tally in the week. We've got 5 games to significantly improve on that, and for me, I'm really motivated to show. That's not the only thing that shows progress, but it certainly helps.